It's Friday in Tryon, North Carolina, and it's been another beautiful day. We still haven't had any rain. We just ask you to really pray. As a matter of fact, a pastor friend was traveling down Interstate 26, and he said somebody must have thrown a cigarette out because there was a fire by the side of the road, and traffic was backed up all the way to Highway 14, so from Landrum. So I hope you'll pray for rain, and hope you'll pray that the firefighters will be kept safe, and that quickly these fires will be put out across the South. We've been looking at spiritual warfare, and we looked at Adam and Eve, who failed in spiritual warfare. We looked at Cain, who failed spiritual warfare. And then we looked at Noah, and Noah succeeded, and we found a truth number two. Well, let's go back to truth number one. Truth number one is that there are three causes for spiritual warfare. Now, that's three causes for sin. That's always one cause. Three causes for spiritual warfare are Satan, the sorry, and self. Sorry are those people around us that provoke us and that are unethical and immoral and so on. So we have three causes for spiritual warfare. Only one cause for sin, and that's ourselves. We have free will and a choice whether or not we want to sin. But anyway, truth number two came from Noah. And truth number two is you can have victory when you walk with the Lord. You can have victory when you walk with the Lord. And so we're taking a look at Noah again today. At this time, it's part 5 of our spiritual warfare study. And I want to just remind you that it said back in chapter 6, verse 8, Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And Noah then went on board the ark for 364 days. Now, I want just to imagine for a moment that the animals, the problems that they must have caused on board the ark, the feedings, the cleaning up behind them, all of the problems that would be involved in that many animals on board a great big ship. Then I want you to remember that he took his wife, his sons, and his sons' wives. I want you to think about the problem of being trapped or cooped up in an ark with 7 other people. And then I want you to think about the spiritual battles that probably went on because of those situations that would come from the animals and the people. And you know that every time a problem occurred that Satan would get on your shoulder and try to use that to cause you to have spiritual warfare. It's hard to imagine Noah being so righteous and so patient and so careful that there was never a time that he didn't say during the 364 days, Lord, maybe I'd have been better off if I had just drowned with everybody else. Nevertheless, it says in chapter 8, verse 18, that Noah went out of the ark. And in verse 20, it says Noah built an altar to the Lord. Imagine 364 days cooped up in the ark. Just water to look at. All those animals, all those relatives, and a wife. And when there was finally some dry ground and Noah went out and let all of the animals out, you'd think that Noah would do something else. But no, not Noah. Noah built an altar to the Lord. It's an incredible thing when you think about it. So in spite of all of the problems, all of the time, the flood, Noah won the spiritual warfare. However, I would quickly remind you that none of us are perfect. No, not one. None of us are righteous. No, not one. We all have fallen short of the glory of the Lord, including Noah. And in chapter 9, verse 21, it says, Noah got drunk and he exposed himself and he was naked and he was sleeping. You see, Noah, even though he was a very good man, was not a perfect man. And Noah didn't know how to drink his wine in moderation. And as a result, there was embarrassment between he and his family. There were bad feelings that resulted. And we find that a couple of lessons here. One is that Noah wasn't perfect, and none of us are, but we also learn that we need to be careful, especially in the use of alcoholic beverages, because we drop our guard, our inhibitions are released. We'll do things that we wouldn't do otherwise under the influence of alcohol. And lots of times they cause problems with other people. And so it's important to remember that when Noah failed, it wasn't over some deep theological issue. It was just not using good judgment and moderation of alcoholic beverage. I know most of you probably don't drink, but if you do, remember the story of Noah. Noah had great victories in very extreme, difficult situations. And Noah's only failure recorded here in Scripture is when he didn't drink in moderation and with care. It's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.